Wonderkids are cheat codes in Football Manager, especially cheap ones. You buy them young for peanuts and watch them develop into world-class footballers. Tommy Montefiore is a great example of this. He's a young, technically gifted and determined player, but with the best part being his asking price is £0 million. That's cheap, right? But he's not the only one. Here's the 30 cheapest Wonderkids we could find in Football Manager 2024. Adlene Bini is an 18-year-old Algerian, technically gifted winger. My scout tells me he's a fairly consistent performer and would be an A-rated signing for my Manchester United team. You can pick him up for £29 million. Chadi Riyad is a 20-year-old Moroccan left-footed centre-back. Again, my scout tells me he's a fairly consistent performer and is an A-star rated signing, and although his minimum fee release clause is around 40 million, you can pick him up for around 26 million quid. Gaetan Restas is an 18-year-old French goalkeeper who's going to be really good. Again, a fairly consistent performer according to my scout and an A-star rated signing. Pick him up at the start of the game for just 26 million quid. Zeno Debas is a 19-year-old Belgian perfectionist centre-back. He's got really good attributes already, and you can pick him up for just 19 million quid. And don't be sleeping on that perfectionist personality. You want another Belgian for 19 million quid? I got you covered. Arthur Vermeeren is an 18-year-old defensive midfielder. He's going to be sick. Look at those 14s, teamwork, vision and work rate, as well as composure 15 already at 18 years old. Again, my scout tells me he's a fairly consistent performer. Khabib Diara is a 19-year-old midfielder with strong work rate and teamwork, will be excellent in a gegenpressing formation. Again, my scout tells me he's a fairly consistent performer. Pick him up for around £19 million. Wow, Tomaso Baldanzi. Look how good he looks already at just 20 years old. Pick him up for around 19 million quid. 14 dribbling, 14 finishing, 14 first touch and 16 determination. Wow. Fairly adaptable, fairly consistent performer and can play in a couple of positions. Get him in. Sammy Braybrook is a 19-year-old defensive midfielder who's English with a balanced personality. Currently out with a long-term injury at the start of the game, but you can pick him up for around 19 million quid. And again, an A-rated signing for my Manchester United side here. Antonio Nusa is an 18-year-old winger who can play both sides fairly naturally and is right-footed. He's fast, good at dribbling and got great technique already. Again, a fairly consistent performer. Pick him up for around £18 million. We all know about Marcus Leonardo by now, surely. The 20-year-old Brazilian Wonderkid, still playing in Brazil in Football Manager. Pluck him out of that country, get him into your European leagues, and presumably playing in Europe, right? 15 finishing, 15 composure, 15 acceleration, 15 off the ball. These are perfect attributes for a young striker. He can play in a couple of positions, possesses a fair amount of pace, is a fairly consistent performer, and is fairly adaptable when it comes to living in another country. And the cherry on the cake, you can pick him up for 18 million quid. No brainer. If he wasn't out on loan, you could pick up Mateu Sul, this left-footed right winger, for around 18 million quid. He's already got determination of 16. It's going to be great, mark my words. My scout tells me he's a fairly consistent performer and has great technical ability. Suic is an amazing left-footed centre midfielder from Croatia. Pick him up for around 16 million quid at the start of the game. He's a fairly consistent performer and displays a fairly determined attitude. What could go wrong? Ernst Poku is a 19-year-old Dutch speed demon. What he lacks in technical ability, he makes up for in sheer pace. He's great. And he'll only cost you £12.75 million at the start of the game. Bascosse is a 20-year-old central midfielder with a balanced personality and some really good attributes when it comes to determination, first touch dribbling, technique, and passing. You can pick him up for around £12 million at the start of the game, and my scout tells me he would be an A-rated signing for Manchester United. Adam Morton is one of those rare gems, an English wonderkid who costs you less than 15 million quid. He's currently playing at Blackburn. He's 19 years old, left-footed, spirited personality, and plays central midfield. My scout gives rave reviews to his spirited personality and his first touch and tells me he would be an A-star signing for Manchester United. Stanislas Adbo Mozambo is not only my favourite name in Football Manager, he's also got the potential to be one of my favourite Wonderkids. He's a left/attacking midfield centre player who's 18 years old, Belgian, has a resolute personality and some amazing attributes. Look at that. Dribbling 16, bravery 16, and determination 16. He's 18 years old. Pick him up for just 10 million quid. My scout tells me he's a fairly consistent performer and could be adaptable when it comes to living in another country. Diego Calais, or here in Wales we would pronounce that Diego Calais. Okay. Diego Calais is an 18-year-old Brazilian goalkeeper who's going to be really, really good in the future, I'm sure of it. Look how well-rounded his attributes are already at the age of just 18. He does need to work on becoming more consistent, however, which is the first time I think we've seen that in this list today. Assaan Algo will cost you just 10 million quid at the start of the game. He's a 17-year-old, very versatile German player with a resolute personality. That's a good personality. My scout tells me he's a fairly consistent performer, has a good understanding of the English language, which is good if you're playing in England, I guess, and would be an A-rated signing for Manchester United. Cuaudio Evie is an Argentinian 17-year-old balanced attacking midfielder who can pretty much play anywhere up front, to be honest. Standout attributes of first touch, flair, and technique. My scout tells me he's fairly adaptable, but has a lot of improving to do. He'll cost you about 9 million quid though, so pretty decent. Alexis Tid is a 19-year-old French attacking midfield winger slash forward who looks really, really promising. He's fast, agile, good at dribbling, and has decent flair. Well, I say decent, that's amazing flair, 16 at the age of 19. My scout tells me he's a fairly consistent performer and is adaptable. B+ signing for this Manchester United team. Wow, Valentine Carboni, what a player, look at his attributes. An 18-year-old attacking Argentinian midfielder. I think this is the first time I've ever seen this guy. 16 determination, 14 dribbling, 14 finishing, 14 first touch, 14 passing, 15 technique. Wowzers. He's currently on loan from Inter Milan, which is a bit of a stumbling block. About £8 million is his asking price, and a fairly consistent performer. Wow, it's amazing that my scout tells me he's only a B+ signing for Manchester United. Valentine Barco is an 18-year-old left-back Argentinian with a balanced personality, described as a winger, but I would play this guy at left-back. Look at those stats. The best thing about this guy is he has a minimum free release clause of 8 million quid, which is good value. He's an A-rated signing for this Manchester United team, and I would think very seriously about signing this guy if you're looking for a left-back. Samuel Vigneto, just £7.5 million will pick you up. This Italian 19-year-old attacking midfielder with a balanced personality. Alan Vasco, available for just £5.2 million at the start of the game. He's a 20-year-old Argentinian resolute winger who potentially could be a fairly consistent performer in your side. Takuri Nakai, we remember him from last year, still got huge potential in this game, still available quite cheap, around £4 million. He's actually got an £11 million release clause. Unfortunately, he is on loan from Real Madrid, playing for someone else, so it could be tricky to sign him straight away, but he's going to be great, guys. Look at this. Fairly consistent performer, balanced to normal personality. He's so cheap, why not just get him in? Heading into the top 5 cheapest Wonderkids, Rodrigo Ribeiro comes in at number 5. Just £4.4 million will pick you up this Portuguese 18-year-old striker who has the potential to be world class. Ika Via has a minimum free release clause of around 27 million quid. You can pick him up for £2 million, or between £2 and £3 million anyway. He's got a lot of improving to do. He's a 17-year-old Spanish striker with a balanced personality, but my reports suggest he's a fairly consistent performer, fairly adaptable when it comes to living in another country, and he's actually got a hidden attribute here of 169 potential ability out of 200, which is insane. Pau Sanz is a Spanish 18-year-old balanced personality striker who costs you just £1 million quid. My scout tells me he's a fairly consistent performer, possesses a fair amount of pace, and already has a good understanding of the English language. That really helps if you're working in an English language based country. Mateus Ferreira comes in at number 2 on our 30 cheapest Wonderkids list. He's a 17-year-old Brazilian player who costs you less than £1 million, 975,000 to be precise. He's a defensive midfielder with a lot of growing to do, but already you can see work rate here in the save of 14, determination of 16, and at just 17 years old, he's going to improve on those without a shadow of a doubt. Of course, in at number 1 is Tommy Montefiore. He'll actually cost you no £1 million at the start of the game. Here is your full list, complete with asking price, minimum free release clause, potential ability, which can be a variable. Do hit like, do hit subscribe, and if you want to download this and all of the shortlists that we make, please consider becoming a patron. Link to that in the video description. Thanks for watching. See you soon.